Untouched landscapes that reflect how Japanese people live, what they value, and how they coexist with abundant nature through generations. This video was recently released by Japan's Agency for Cultural Affairs, promoting a campaign called Japan Heritage. The music was composed and performed by an American guitarist, Marty Friedman. He has been appointed as the project's official ambassador to promote Japan to the world. Known as the lead guitarist of Megadeth, Friedman quit the heavy metal band and moved to Japan to pursue his love of Japanese music. He's been living in the country for almost 20 years, working with Japan's most famous artists. For the first time since the pandemic, he's been touring the US over the last couple of months to share his mission through music.
Welcome to Newsline in Depth. I'm Shibuya Aki in Tokyo. Guitarist Marty Friedman is known for his love of Japanese music and his regular appearances on television here. Now he's branching out, adding the title of Cultural Ambassador to his resume. In this edition of Newsline in Depth, NHK World's Takao Minori from our New York bureau catches up with him to learn about his journey and how it's led to the music he creates today.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. We welcome Marty Friedman to our New York studio. Thank you so much for coming today. You are, in fact, coming all the way from Tokyo.
Yes, it's great to be here in New York. It's great to see you again.
Yes. What did you want your fans here in the States to see from you and your Japanese members playing?
I think we just wanted to give people Japan energy. Japan energy is different from America energy. But like there's something about the adrenaline playing with a Japanese group.
We're at Sunset Strip in Los Angeles. Marty Friedman and his band are headlining at this legendary music venue, Whiskey A Go Go. The Doors, Jimi Hendrix, Rolling Stones. Since 1964, the club has been home to some of the largest names in rock and roll, and his name is on the list. The crowd goes wild when the musicians hit the stage. The venue is packed with hardcore Megadeth fans, as well as young guitar-playing admirers.
One more from Japan, how much you going?
Friedman chooses to do instrumental cover versions of Japanese songs. One number in the set list is enka, a traditional genre that expresses surging emotion through a vibrato vocal style. He maintains the essence of the song, making his guitar sound like an enka singer.
You can see the mix of culture with the Japanese and the American music. It's solo, it's riff, you can see the emotion, the feeling, it's just awesome. Rock on, great shows.
Marty has influenced us to go to Japan. Yes.
No one sounds like Marty. Like he's got a sound of his own.
Well, you really took time to nurture your music in Japan. You left your career in the States, went to Japan, decided to live there and nurture this, and then now you're bringing it to the United States on tour.
And I think every artist has the responsibility to follow their musical vision. My own personal, what makes me different is the fact that I really enjoy a lot of what's in Japan, and I want to be a part of that.
You just happened to fall upon Japanese music when you were living in Hawaii,
Yes,
is that correct?
yes.
You were like in your teens?
In my teens, yes, and they had a Japanese radio station there, and they would play enka and Japanese music, and it sounded so different to me.
Well, for those of you who don't know what enka is, this is one of the songs that Marty actually played during his headliner show. It's called Amagigoe. Amagigoe is one of the biggest hits by Japan's leading enka singer, Ishikawa Sayuri. She uses a technique called kobushi, singing one syllable in different pitches.
In Japanese, they say kobushi. In English, we say kind of vibrato or other words for that. But like, instead of making guitar sound like a guitar, try to be human about it. It's like... kind of human to play that way. I find that playing instrumental music, the more you have those kind of big feelings, the more emotive your playing can become. I didn't understand Japanese, but I understood the feeling of the singer. So maybe I can do something like that on guitar, is what I thought.
So that was the shock that you had when you first heard enka.
Yeah, I didn't notice it right away. I just knew that I was feeling that emotion. Knew that I was feeling something very powerful, but I didn't know what it was, so I had to analyze it. So I listened closely, and then I thought, wow, if I learn from things that are not necessarily rock music or guitar music, I can really expand my expressions. I can expand my expressions and be more like a human vocalist rather than a musical instrument.
Your love, though, I think, for Japanese music and, of course, Japanese culture has really taken on a next level. And that is why you were chosen to become one of the Japan Heritage Ambassadors for the Japanese Government Agency of Cultural Affairs. The Japan Heritage Campaign is led by the Cultural Affairs Agency. It features 104 so-called destination stories based on places and objects shaped by nature and people over the centuries. The campaign is aimed at revitalizing local communities and giving them wider international recognition. Appointed in 2016, Friedman is the first non-Japanese person to be chosen as a Japan Heritage Ambassador. He explores sites across the country and participates in events to share his discoveries. Marty, how do you feel that you can contribute in a way that the other Japanese ambassadors cannot?
I can explain Japan not only from someone who's lived there for a long time, but from someone who grew up in America. So to have someone like me who's had a lot of great experiences in Japan, I can explain it from someone who's been on both sides, and I can, use things that Americans can relate to understand Japan a little bit better. And I think that's the difference between a Japanese ambassador and myself.
When asked to compose the campaign's official theme song, Friedman wanted to avoid some of the stereotypical images that foreigners have of Japan. He wanted to portray what he feels is the real Japan and how he's experienced the country by living in it.
That was just such an honor to do that, and that's maybe one of the things I'm most proud of that I've done in Japan. It's really a classical orchestra arrangement, but the melodic sense is very much like what you could find in a pop song.
Marty, what did you want to show through the music that you made for the Japan Heritage video?
It's more like what I tried to do, Nichijou no ongaku, day-to-day musical melodies. So I wanted to really make something that Japanese people relate to, so it's a little more subtle than all of those shogun type of melodies. And that took a lot of energy to do, and it was a big challenge. But since I love J-pop so much and so much of it has rubbed off on me, I think it worked out okay.
What do you aspire to do as ambassador and then also as a musician going forward?
Japan is so much more than just going to Kyoto and looking at all the beautiful shrines and stuff, which I would recommend. That's wonderful. But I just think people outside of Japan deserve to see what the Japanese people all know about and what the Japanese people get to enjoy. And you can't understand that by reading that in a book. You can only understand it by going there. I just want to, I'm happy that people come to me for advice. Music, it's just, I have whatever music that is I want to make, that's my music. And if people enjoy it, I'm very, very happy about it.
Well, thank you so much, Marty, for sharing your insight.
Thank you so much.
Marty said that the concept of following a musical vision was what drove him to where he is today. Even so, it must have been a challenge to leave a group like Megadeth to jump into a completely different world. In taking traditional enka as his inspiration, he's been able to create an entire new musical style. For me, that's proof that passion can take us on a journey to wherever we want. That's all for this edition of Newsline in Depth. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.